Good evening, guys. What's going on? Welcome to the first recap video of the year. Week one already in the books. Already a very exciting week that we had. Week one had a lot of games actually go down to the Monday night game with a few scores actually getting really close. Actually, one game was a 2-point victory for Brock. So just really interesting, very exciting to watch week one. So I want to just jump right into it, guys. We'll get into the week one scoreboard, looking at the week two preview as well. Also, huge rule change that Brock and I decided on, which I will get to at the end of the video. So, that way we can leave it up for discussion. I'll put it right on the league page, and we'll go from there. So, without further ado, week one recap. We had Jeff beating me 84.8 to 80.9, had me by about 4 points. His highest score was Tom Brady that Thursday night game. He threw 4 TDs. He had 27.6. Panthers defense was my pickup, and they had 22. My team's not going to be looking good this year, so that's about my exciting point is high-scoring defense. So next on the list we had Mike Scott picking up the victory, 117 to 107. Jared definitely had a good game out of Carlos Hyde, had 30.2 on Monday night, tore it up, but it wasn't enough to overcome Mike. Mike had Julio, who got him 26.1. I'm really kicking myself in the ass for not drafting Julio, but I got to ride with my boy Demaryius Thomas. But Mike had a really solid outing overall, had a couple other good games from people. So, Mike proving some haters wrong already with that 1-0 record so far. On the Aaron and Joe's matchup, once again, fairly close matchup within about 9 points of each other. Joe only scored 87 to Aaron's 96. Aaron was led by none other than Aaron Rodgers. 23 points against the Bears. Started slow but really finished strong. Aaron definitely needed it. And Joe with a surprising 22 from Chris Ivory. I think Ivory's going to be real solid down the stretch. He's got no competition, playing for decent offense from what they look like. So, he could be a really surprising pick for Joe, in place of some of the other players who haven't really lived up yet to the expectations. Like I said, closest matchup of the week was Brock and Javi by far, 91.5 to 89.5. With AP being down, with AP going against Monday night, it looked like Javi hit it all, but lost this one. But with Matt Bryant scoring 17 and AP doing really nothing, it looked like Javi would have had a chance to pull out the upset. But AP scored, I think, a solid 5 or 6 on Monday night to get Brock the victory. So Brock was led by none other than Matt Forte. Had a huge game against the Packers. Looking like they're going to feed him the ball a lot this year, so look for more big numbers out of Forte. And Javi had a little trouble scoring, was spread out a little bit, but luck led his way with 17.7. So pretty much everybody else chipping in here and there. I think he only had 1 or 2 other guys in double figures, but everybody else was 8, 9 points, so that's not too bad. And then obviously highest scoring point total of the week was none other than Eric and Nick with 121.5 over Nico's 85. If you watch Nick's team and Nick and Eric's team, they just pretty much lit up the scoreboard from all over the place. They had Gronk, they had Big Ben, Antonio Brown really lit it up on that Thursday night game. Pretty much put Nico in a spot that he just couldn't come back from. He was led by Jeremy Hill with 18.3. He's looking like he's going to get the ball a lot this year too. So I think Nico just tough week. Nico would have beat me, and that's about it. So Nico's actually second lowest scoring team, and Jeff. So it's not as bad as Nico's luck, but yeah, he faced the highest scoring team once again. So anyway, guys, that was the week one scoreboard there. Let's get into the recap or the preview real quick, because I want to get on this other issue. But so far, week one, we have me against Joe. We're both projected to score right around 92, 93 points, so that'll be really close. We'll see how the actual projections play out. Javi going up against Aaron. Aaron set at 96.5, 96.8 to Javi's 85.4. So looks like could possibly be a blowout, but you never know. Projections obviously always usually full of shit. Big division game here would be Jeff against Jared. Jared projected to score about 100 points to Jeff's 92. So right before he gets Le'Veon back, this could be a really close matchup and a big win for Jeff if he can get it. Another decent matchup is going to be Nico against Mike here. Mike projected to score over 105 points, while Nico's projected to score about 96, so still could be really close. And Dalton and Brock go up against Eric and Nick, both co-owners here. Brock projected at 103.6, as well as Eric projected at 97.6. So, like I said, guys, matchups are going to be pretty close. Projections are always going to be fairly close together. So, we'll see how that goes. I know Joe is going to post the picks that you pick on the league page. So, make sure you guys get on there. Pick who you think's going to win. Make sure you vote. Put a comment who you think and maybe why. But the big thing I want to talk to you guys about is obviously the change in the rule that I discussed. So what we're going to do, and I think this is long overdue, since we started doing keepers 4 years ago. I think this is our fourth season, so 3 years ago. We should have implemented this a long time ago. But what's going to happen going forward starting next year will be you are only allowed to keep a player 2 years, max. So guys like Eddie Lacy, Antonio Brown, DeMarco Murray, Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell, Marshawn Lynch, guys that have already been kept, Des Bryant, guys who have already been kept 2 years and then were traded and now they're being kept another 2 years. We're no longer doing that. And the reason why is because it's going to get more players, more good players back into the draft. So it's the parity of the league really helps spread it out. So guys like, Brock and Joe, two very comparable wide receiver number ones who have good value with Dez in the 4th and obviously OBJ in the 16th, can't just trade them back and forth. So Brock says, hey, give me Dez for the next 2 years. I'll give you OBJ for the next 2, and then we'll just swap when they're up. So we're going to stop with that. And also, like I said, it just helps get more people back into the draft that are good players and not just garbage players or middle tier players. So, anybody who has a keeper right now that's already been kept 2 years, like I said, for example, a Lynch, AP, a Dez, a Lacy, a Bell, those guys will be available next year because currently on those teams, they've been kept those 2 years, I think, except for Lynch and obviously AP, Brock only keeping him AP this year. But those guys have been kept, so they're going to go back into the draft next year. Even if they're traded. If Brock trades me AP, he's going back into the draft next year. I cannot keep him. Guys like Andrew Luck, who this is his first year being kept, was traded to him last year. Javi kept him this year, so he's allowed to keep him for next year. And then the year after, he will, in 2017, he will go back into the pool. Guys like Todd Gurley, for example. Eric can keep him this year, next year, and then in 2017 he goes, he'll keep him for next year, the year after, being his 2nd year kept, his 3rd year on his team, and then he'll go back into the pool in 2018. So, with that rule, guys, I will come up with a list of all players that have been kept those 2 years in a row, and then they will go back in. Now, if it's like I'm trying to think off the top of my head, just what I can think of, like Jeremy Hill. This is Nico's first year keeping him. So Nico can keep him again next year, same situation with Andrew Luck, and then he will be back into the pool the year after. There might just be a few instances, guys, where there's, somebody who was traded a keeper last year that is they were able to keep him this year, but then they'll have to give them up next year. There's only a few instances where I can see that happening. So it's not a huge issue, guys. I know it will affect trade value of some people. I mean, look at Le'Veon Bell. He's an 11th round pick, super keeper, probably the best one in the league in terms of value and where he's being drafted. So that affects Jeff. I mean, Jeff could get supreme value for him, because, hey, I'm pitching him as an 11th round keeper and he's the number 1 running back. That no longer is the case. So, I mean, it allows Jeff to ride his superstar out through the rest of the year, try and win a championship. But if not, he goes back into the draft pool. Like I said, my reasoning behind this is it just helps, if there's 2 stud players on a team, hey, great, you're going to have those 2 great years with that player, those 2 players, but then they're going to go back in just to give everybody a shot. It's going to, I guess, revolve teams around a little bit more. And also, like I said, just really get some more talent into the draft pool. I actually talked with a couple other people about the proposed rule change. There's a couple people who were on the fence, thought it was good but not great, not bad but not good. One owner was actually all for it. He was like, hey, we should have did this 4 years ago. Well, it took so long. So in my opinion, I think you're right. It should have been implemented years ago. I didn't really think it was an issue, nor has it been. Nobody's really swapped keepers back and forth or done that, but I think I'm trying to prevent it, and it's not really preventing that, but it's more or less getting the parity back and getting that talent back in. I know Aaron actually was a big proponent of getting more talent back into the draft, and I completely agree. We talked one year about only keeping one position, so you're only allowed to keep one running back or one receiver, one tight end. And that's an option too. I'm not totally against that, but I think at the same time, the whole only keeping them for 2 years max is a good thing. I talked about even doing a total redraft, but I think that hurts guys like Eric, who used a third-round pick on Todd Gurley. That's not fair to Eric, who had, if we'd gone into this as a keeper league, that's wasted pick for him in a sense. Or Jeff, who drafted Arian Foster in the second, or Jordy in the 10th. Those are wasted picks if we're doing a redraft next year. So it's not fair to guys like that based it on a keeper league. So I'm not changing that in a sense. I did want to change the rule with the 2 keepers. I think that's, or the 2-year keeper. I think that's great. We talked about dropping down to 1 keeper, but it's not as exciting. I think 2 keepers is perfect. I don't want to go more than 2 or less than 2, really. And I don't want to completely lose keepers and go to a total redraft. I think that's what makes our league the best, is the carryover, is the planning and the preparation that goes into the next year's draft, that you have 2 good players, or that, like me, that has no players, and I had to trade up and do that, which, more than likely it's going to hurt me this year, but, we'll see what happens. So I'll come up with a list of players that have been kept or are on their last year, of being kept, and then that's gonna be it. Now, I don't want to hold you back from trading for Le'Veon Bell, or trading for a Marshawn Lynch, or trading for Des Bryant. Go for it. If your team's making a playoff run and you're like, I could use Le'Veon Bell big time, and let's say Jeff's like, hey, I'm out of it, and Le'Veon Bell, he could help you win a title. Hey, trade me a keeper, trade me OBJ, so that I can keep him going forward to another year. So, there's still the trades and the strategy in that, but I think, like I said, it just helps roll over teams and the carryover, and helps parity the league so much better, helps make more talent available at the top of the draft. I just think it's tenfold a good idea. So go ahead, post your comments on the side, guys. I want to hear your opinion. I'd love to see 10 different opinions on it, because that's what makes our league great, guys. We've made changes that people have voted is great. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a vote. This is done and done. It's what me and Brock decided, and I think we came to a 100% agreement. There wasn't any gray area with us here. We both thought it was a home run for the league. So with that, when we're so dead set on something, that's what it's going to be. So don't get me wrong. This is not votable. This is set in stone going forward. But please post your opinion. If there's something that I see that I might say, hey, let's take that and mold it a little bit, I will totally use it. So I'm open to opinions, guys. Like I said, we've made changes on some opinions on this league, so that's what we're here for. It's what you guys pay us all this money for, is to come up with these new rules. So anyway, guys, I did this video a little late tonight. I'm packing for Colorado. I'll be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so I might be a little inactive this week. But if you have an immediate need or a huge question about what player went where, just shoot me a text. I'll look it up real quick. Other than that, questions, text Brock as always. But yeah, I think this is a huge step for the league. I think it's a good idea. Like I said, should have been done years ago, but better late than never. So you guys have a great week. Good luck to all the teams this week. Nobody get down. I know I'm a little frustrated. My team's not looking great, but I'm still going to be here, guys. I'm still going to do the videos. I'm not going to bail out on you. We all pay good money for this league, so I don't want to take away from your experience. So anyway, yeah, me and Nico are locked in a fantasy matchup, as well as Brock and Eric. So it's kind of funny that all the guys in the fantasy baseball championship are guys in the football league. So we know a little bit about everything. So good luck to Nico this week. Obviously, Brock and Eric as well on your fantasy baseball side. I'm trying to go worst to first, so I'm coming for it. But anyway, good luck, guys. Have a great week, and I will talk to you guys more. Please comment on the side column. I want to hear your opinion on this, so please, I will just open a board on new rule and go from there. So I will create the topic and just shoot under there. All right, guys, have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.